I think the real thing that he desired was like a father that loved him. I'm not even trying to be corny.
Facts. No,
he,
for sure.
He just wanted to be wanted. Like he got this when he was 12.
Lord, man. He needed the Lord.
He had
He needed a father that loved him, praise God.
A father's love, man. You're a good father.
And we're standing.
It's who you are. It's who you are. You know, we finna go into worship right there, bro. No.
Watch out, Josh ain't going for the switch. I just wanna fall for a miss. Keep your eyes stayed on me for the blessing. Treasure up in the heavens, we snatch it. Look at the change upon my nation. Yeah, look at the change upon my nation. Look at the change upon my nation. Yeah, look at the change upon my nation. All that power in the keys, yeah, I really wanna use that.
What is up, everybody? This is Those Indie Geeks. Did you like the new intro? Hey, because that's gonna be in there.
We fancy,
huh? Like this is.
Oh, you fancy?
This is technically.
Huh? Oh, you fancy, huh?
This is technically season 2, right? And my name is Q.
I'm JusRzd.
It's your boy Prodigyl.
And we just talk about geeky things, and we call ourselves Those Indie Geeks. And you know, we're just a bunch of Jesus loving, geek talking people. So, and we have a lot to talk about. We've been gone for a little break here, and Ironheart just came out. Now I have a question. All right, let me start off with a question, guys, because I've been thinking about this. Who do you like better, Iron Man or Ironheart? I know. Go ahead.
Why would you do this?
Because I'm the guy who asks the questions.
Well, why would you do this question specifically? Why would you
We
do
spent
this?
a decade with
Question
Tony Stark with Iron Man.
No, I'm not even talking about the MCU. I'm not even talking about the MCU.
But it's
It
still
is
not
fair.
fair. She's brand new in comics. Like
Yeah.
she's been around
She's
for
almost
2
a
years.
decade old. She is not brand new.
I can really only talk about the movies because I'm not way too familiar again with re-releasing the comics, so I don't know.
So based off of abilities and suits, who do you like better? I'm not talking about MCU. I'm just saying based off of suits and abilities, who would you prefer on your team? Because they're both geniuses. Technically.
She's technically smarter than him.
Yes, that's true.
I know who's smarter than her, though. I know the smartest person in the... That's for another time.
I'm trying to see just Ironheart armors.
Personally, if you need me to start off, I will start. Personally, because of experience and the models that he built, I prefer Tony in some aspects. But I do kind of like how Ironheart's armors are more like solar and wind based as opposed to electric based, because she can't ever run into that issue where, runs out of power in the middle of the day. She's solar. Or the wind. Like solar wind power. So like in the series she had an instance where she was low battery power and they shocked. That was like the only thing where I was like, that would have came in handy.
I think honestly, I really liked her white suit I know we're not talking about comics, but the white suit that she had in the beginning from MIT was really cool to me.
I ain't gonna lie, that last suit was my favorite.
Yeah, like
You like the last suit?
You like the last suit? Cool as well. I will say,
that last suit was cold.
Sure, I like the last suit.
I still don't like the fact that they keep giving her the big clunky suit.
That's my thing. I'm like, why is it still so big? Like,
yeah,
I don't get it. But
the last suit was cool mainly because of the magic. Mainly because of the magic infusion and all that stuff.
We're gonna talk about the magic here.
But yeah, no, I mean, so I think from like the comics perspective, I mean, again, I don't have too much experience with Riri as a comic book character, so I don't.
She's a lot more vapid in the comics. I feel like the show actually gave her a little bit more depth to kind of enjoy her as a character. And she's supposed to be a legacy character in the comics, but like for some reason she's very one note. And it's weird.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, so I can't really give an opinion on that question. What about you, JusRzd?
I'm just saying, aesthetic-wise, who would you choose to be on your team?
Aesthetic-wise, I would still
take-
go with Iron Man.
I would take Riri for the intelligence, but if we're just going off aesthetic and suits, I'll take Tony. I don't really like
that's fair.
Tony's attitude in the comics.
Nobody likes
Like
Tony's attitude.
RDJ's funny.
No, yeah, no, he's no.
But in the comics, Tony's annoying.
He's a
Yeah,
douche.
he is.
He is an absolute douche.
He's
Yeah.
a big douche.
Like,
Yeah.
in the comics, Civil War was actually warranted. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, other than, like, if you haven't read, viewers, if you have not, or listeners, you haven't read Civil War, like, at least the first one, basically a mutant blows up in some kind
School.
of facility, in a school. And that's the whole thing that starts the registry where people have to, like, tell you if they have superpowers or not. And, like, and so he's so for it, but he did so many things that, like,
Questionable.
yeah, I was just like, in the movies they kind of make it like oh, this is kind of reasonable,
Right.
and I think that's just because of Robert Downey's characterization of, like, Tony. But in the comics, he's just a douche. Like,
Facts.
Yeah, he makes some very questionable decisions, and his whatchamacallit, his motivation behind it is also, like, you know, you could go about it a better way. In the comics, in the movies, you can see that it's just like, even just that one death where that woman comes up to him and talks to him, you know, and says, "Hey, you killed him." Basically, like, he
Yeah.
knows exactly, like, his the consequences of his actions.
like, it hit him.
Even
And
at
he's-
that, though,
in
he
his
still-
journey
he
up
still
until
makes
then.
questionable decisions.
Yeah, his journey
Yeah.
up until then has been like, oh, like, I'm Tony Stark, and I'm doing this for the betterment of humanity. But then once that moment hits, then it's like, from Civil War till Endgame, it's like he's always looking over, double checking, like, not double checking, but like always going with this. I mean, I guess with Age of Ultron too, he's always had that suit of armor around the world kind of thing. But I think
Yeah, he's
Civil
always
War
been
just, like,
paranoid.
put him to another level because of
He was paranoid. He was paranoid after the whole when he
The
went up into
Avengers
space
incident.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's been
So-
going for a while.
But
All right.
I mean, that's a cool way to kind of lead up into Ironheart, because Tony kind of went through this. He went through his whole character arc, right, in the MCU, and how important his character is to the MCU is pretty crazy. So, did you agree with how they depicted him in Ironheart? Because that kind of irked me, but then again, people have said stuff about Tony in the MCU where it didn't make too much sense too in other movies, but they kind of depicted him in the show as just kind of like, oh, well, he wouldn't be where he was if he wasn't a billionaire, kind of
Right.
thing. And I was just like, he's still, like, super smart. Like, he
Yeah.
made that first suit with a literal box of scraps in a cave.
I think that's the main argument, and
I feel
I think
like people are kind of. Oh, go ahead, bro.
no, you go ahead, you could.
No, I was just gonna say, I feel like people are kind of blowing that out of proportion, because at the end of the day, the point wasn't that he wasn't smart. The point was that he has access to resources because he's a billionaire. Like, he didn't get it out the mud as far as not having access to resources. He invented a lot of stuff, but he started with his daddy's
But technically,
company.
he did. Technically, he got it out the mud in the cave. Like, he didn't have any resources there.
Sure, but I mean, and someone actually brought up a good point on Twitter, on X. They're like, yeah, but I mean, that suit also exploded, like, halfway.
Yeah.
Like, this is like an emergency thing that he needed, and
Yeah.
I think that shows how smart he is, right? That just shows. But everything after that, and before that, he's always been in a place of privilege and
That's fair.
resource and comfort.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, he's never had a lack of anything up until that moment. But he's smart enough to get out of that. And so that just shows how smart and cunning he can be. But
Right.
outside of that, he has resources. And that's, I don't think that's necessarily like a bad thing. I think a lot of people be like, oh, he got his daddy's money. No, we know that he can carry on the legacy because actually being a CEO and, like, well, I mean, he gave it to Pepper later on, but
Yeah.
yeah,
He didn't,
like, from the
he didn't
first
like being
time.
a CEO, but
didn't
he was
like being a
capable.
CEO, right?
He was capable,
Facts.
though.
I think his heart for humanity outweighed all of that. And I think if he didn't have his resources, I don't know where the world would be. You know,
Right.
like, does that
In
make
the
sense?
MCU,
And-
yeah.
Right. Not us. We'll be fine.
I was like, what But I mean,
so that's my take on
to that regard, I think Riri's story was definitely more of a come up story because she literally did get it out the mud. Like she didn't have
multiple times.
nothing multiple
She got it out
times.
the mud multiple times. She got it out the mud at MIT. She got it out the mud in Wakanda. She got it out the mud. Like she got it out the mud in Chicago twice. It was like,
Twice.
damn.
I dig the fact. I dig the fact that it. Okay, here's one of the things about the because hey, just so you know, guys, we are going to talk spoilers. We're going to talk Ironheart in general. We're going to go over the whole series here right now. So,
And guess
my
what?
favorite.
We're gonna do it with no hate.
But no hate, no, none whatsoever. But here's the thing, yeah, because people have been crazy right now, and
Real
sorry
crazy.
if you guys are hearing that. By the way, that's we're having thunderstorms here in Vegas, but
Wild
And
hot.
any-
Rain in Vegas.
It's like hot thunderstorms.
yeah, man, it's crazy.
You know what?
Vegas
No,
is
that's
crazy.
relatable because that's the same thing in
Rains
Texas.
in Vegas.
That's the same thing in
Yeah.
Texas, bro. Yeah.
Bro, it rains,
Warm
but it's
storms.
hot.
Yeah.
It's like bro, you're out here like
Like you step out, and then your glasses start fogging up.
Yeah.
And like all that, it's annoying. But,
it sucks.
Yeah.
But one of
And
my
it's just like,
favorite.
did it just rain? Okay, yeah, go
One
ahead.
of my no, it wasn't. It was hot steaming water.
It never makes it to the
Take a
floor.
warm
It just
shower
evaporates
outside.
before it gets there.
No, I'm telling you. So my favorite thing about the series, other than how bulky the suits were, I like the fact that they're becoming a lot more streamlined with her, like her personality and how she's deciding to make the suit as opposed to how Tony decided to make his suits. Like she's just thinking differently, and I like it. Like what I mentioned with the power source and all that stuff. I dig the fact that her characterization and her arc took her from where she didn't even want to think about the stuff and the trauma that what she had went through. So we're going all the way through the series, and she literally had to step by step deal with all the trauma that she. Eventually, she let Natalie, the AI, in. Eventually, I think she should have told the brother right off the bat. But that was my opinion.
Or
I
at least
don't.
better than she told him. At
Oh,
least
yeah,
better
well,
than
she
told
didn't
him.
even try to
I
tell
was
him. Like
ooh.
Yeah.
I
that
know.
that was Natalie taking the suit, getting him, and like now, surprise! Like, and she said, didn't her mom tell her like you should probably say something before it's like, oh no, like.
Thanks.
So I was kind of like, okay, I feel like he kind of overreacted, but at the same time, I could see like why
Yeah.
you would. Like,
I mean, if someone made like a hollow projection or an AI projection of my sister that I'd lost, like I'd be like, what's wrong?
What
like,
is
I mean,
wrong?
like that's not
Right.
fair.
Who asked for this?
Yeah.
Whose man's is this?
I mean, but here's the thing. Like, there's
Yeah.
another part where I'm just like, okay, look, that's just her response. Her, like, she misses her that much, and even it's reflected at the end of the show, right? And she misses
Yeah.
her that much, and like her whole mind is
Their
basically just
relationship-
focused on her, and it's beautiful to see. Dude, okay, wait, hold on. Before we go, like, maybe we should have. Maybe we could just do this at the end. Do you want to give a rating right now? What y'all think of the overall show? Or do you just want to do it at the end?
ooh, I'll rate it now.
Yeah, I guess
So,
we can rate it now.
so me
Well,
personally,
well, should we?
should have thought this
Yeah.
out before we hit record.
We don't have to do it like everybody else. We can rate it.
Touche.
We can rate it.
Touche.
I would say my rating.
Okay.
My rating would probably be a 9 solid. A solid 9 because to me, if they took out little pieces and kind of made it a little bit more seamless, it could have been a bomb movie for Phase 4. And they chose not to. It probably would have been one of their best movies. They could have just tweaked some things, I mean, the graphics were awesome, but I think for a feature film, like they could have, or at least made a featurette. You know what I mean? Like they could have made like an hour and a half, like featurette maybe. So that's why I give it a 9 solid. I don't know. Yeah, that was probably just it. Like, I think more action in the suit would have been the thing that just made it a solid 10 for me, because we didn't really get like a real fight ish between like I would have liked to see her fight Ezekiel a little bit more, like just showing more of his abilities, because in the comics he has like mad crazy abilities, and they showcased a bunch of them, but like I feel like it could have went even further, like giving her more of a shot, because I don't know, her armor just doesn't seem as invincible, because she's not the invincible Iron Man. Everybody's always tearing her armor up, like
yeah.
So,
but to be fair, it's not like she's solidified like a final mock version of her armor.
Right.
Like, everything she created in the show was like on the fly. I got to do this.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, even the final armor that's made out of a car. What car is it?
A car.
Yeah.
It's like a Chevy.
You know what I'm saying?
Is it?
Like we're not at vibranium levels or anything like that.
Right.
Even though she had that.
She has a vibranium suit.
She does. She does.
No.
It's in Wakanda. Shuri has a vibranium suit.
I guess it might come back for Doomsday or maybe Secret Wars if she shows up. I mean, like, she'll pop back out to Wakanda and just get an upgraded vibranium suit.
If they do that and it's purple and gold and black like her suit, like, oh, I'm done. And they made a more refined, slimmer version of it. Oh my gosh!
I need a more refined, slimmer version.
Yeah.
Or I'll even take the version from What If.
Yeah.
She fused she fused with Vision.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo, this design is cool.
What's your rating?
Yeah.
Who's rated? I said 9.
I gave it. So I gave it like an 8.5 to an 8.7. It's weird. So it's not solid, right?
That's a random decibel, but
I know. I've been going back and forth because I've been thinking of. That's why I even brought it up to that. Like right now, I'm like, should we rate it? So it's funny that you mentioned the fight with Zeke, because I actually was not a big fan of it.
I can see that. Yeah.
I think like the setup with the twins and Clown and all that, like the beginning parts of the fight was fun. I like that. When it got to Zeke, I was just, I don't know, something just knocked there was no real excitement to it. I honestly felt like he was just gonna let her go. I don't know. I just didn't feel it. He wasn't believable as a super villain to me. Maybe because he's not. Because he's not. I understand that. But like, he didn't seem like a threat. That's what I mean. He didn't seem like a threat in the movie.
In the comics, he's definitely characterized differently, and but like,
in the moment, he just turned and like all this stuff happened to him, and he's just conflicted about why he's doing this to Riri.
I like his characterization though. I like how he is.
As for me, in that moment, I was just like, this doesn't seem. And I know, like, again, it's not big stakes or anything just yet, right? It's like, but
for a second there, though, they had me convinced that they were gonna make him like a full-fledged like villain because when he said what he said about like her like not caring about anybody but herself, I was like, ooh, that man's hard.
You can see the turn. Yeah.
Like he's gone.
So and we kind of talked about it, but I think even the character of Riri was like, I guess I didn't really understand. I still don't, like, I know she's kind of hardened because of the trauma she's been through, and like, you know, she's lost Natalie, her stepdad, and all of that, but I feel like she's not necessarily a very likable person.
Really, Natalie?
No, Riri.
Oh, Riri?
Yeah. I think it's because of the trauma, and she puts that, and I don't think I relate to that kind of character as much. You know, I'm more like, if you have that trauma, you're like either gonna go to the darkness.
Here's what I was thinking when I was reading everybody, because you know how everybody's been negative about it. JusRzd, you kind of brought that up. Yeah. Like, we're not gonna be negative and stuff. I think it's because a lot of people can't really relate to, especially not just like an African American's like struggle, but then you got an African American woman at that, and who's dealing with trauma and everything like that. and all from how we know her, that's kind of the only way. I'm glad that the series kind of opened up and let us see why she was so like manipulative and why she was so like unlikable, to the point where we're like, she's doing certain things in the series to where I'm like, oh, there's a glimmer of like, we could like her for like, she's not gonna always be like kind of a douche. So like, but she has reason to be kind of douchey in certain aspects. But I think that was what most people like. They couldn't really relate to that. Like, what you have those two factors, race and gender, and then trauma, and then and no, it's hard to relate to that. It's hard, but I think as a black individual who has trauma in his life and has seen, you know, trauma happen to my female people in my family, like, it's just kind of like, I kind of get why they put so many walls up to make her so standoffish, but I'm kind of hoping that they ring that in all the way until the end. It felt like her walls were coming down, and she would make these really awesome decisions, and then right at the end, she makes like the dumbest decision.
Yeah. I think that's what also kind of like frustrated me too. It's just like the decision making from her end. But I mean,
it's still selfish. It's still selfish.
It's selfish. I think like those moments where she was vulnerable with her family, with her mom, and all that. Like, I think that was beautiful. I think that was like what was relatable to me, because I'm the kind of guy, you know. For me, I'm like, I like talking about like what's wrong, or like, you know, I just like, I like opening up to people. So when those moments, any character, right? It doesn't have to be Riri. Like any character who is vulnerable and open to things like that. Like, I'm like, I rock with that. I respect you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that. But I understand why someone would not be as willing to share. But I think the one that makes it basically like 8.7 is Mephisto. Can we see the name?
Yeah, Mephisto. Why can't we tell
Sasha freaking Baron freaking Cohen. Yes!
Mephisto was dope.
I was
look,
happy. Okay,
look,
sorry.
Look, disclaimer for the Christians who actually watch our show. We're still Christian. just because we're talking about how dope the reveal of Mephisto, essentially Satan.
Yeah.
We're essentially Satan. We're talking about the reveal of him. Like, just because of that doesn't mean that we're not Christian. Like, I've seen really dumb retorts about like how, I was enjoying the series and until they started with all the devil stuff and all the. I was
Magic.
like. It's the same people who went to see Doctor Strange and was all like, magic! Like, what did you think was gonna happen?
Right.
Like, you dumb? Anyway, JusRzd, you still haven't given the rating or anything.
And then we'll talk about Mephisto after.
I haven't given my rating because I was letting y'all discuss and share y'all thoughts.
Yeah, and now you talk.
I gave
JusRzd that not turn.
I gave it an 8.5 just because I feel like there were shows that were executed a little bit better.
Really?
As far as character work and different things like that.
Okay.
However, I will say I would love to see another season of Ironheart and then do more character
100%.
work and really dive deeper into just Riri's character, her decision making skills, and just
which are
her
horrible.
just adjusting to life and stuff like that. Because
horrible.
And where do we go from here? From the end too.
Right, that part. Where do we go from here in the end?
God,
and
that
just,
ending. Oh, God, that ending.
We're going to get to the end in a second, but I want to touch on what Prodigyl said about her not being likable and what you said on that. I feel like it's almost like, to me, watching Wakanda Forever. Some people were just like, Black Panther was barely in this, and it's just like, bro, it wasn't even about that. Like, it was a movie about grief and how to deal with grief and just going through life. So it's just like seeing Ironheart. It's just like the emotional beats they were hitting was probably my favorite part of the whole show. Just the different emotional beats they was hitting with Riri, with her mother, with their relationship, the beats, even with the Hood and his cousin, and the Hood and his backstory, even though it was super brief. Just seeing how all of that just transpired and came together, and just the different, like, if you've ever experienced trauma or ever experienced a situation where you've had to put walls up because you were trying to run away from it or didn't want to face it, or you were just so hurt by it, it's just like, yo, this story resonates with you. Just seeing her go through that, it's just like, oh, no wonder she's pouring herself into her work and trying to do this so much and trying to do it on her own so bad, and she still ain't even faced it. She's still in the garage. Like, she still ain't even. She still ain't even faced the fact that her best friend and her stepdad gone. Like, she's still in the garage, still trying to figure her way out of this situation, and wanting to not deal with it.
That scene where Natalie had brought up the rendering of that memory, when the stepdad was there and they were dancing, I was just like, oh nah, they're trying to get those strings, because I almost started tearing up. I was like, no, like, they got me, bro.
That was tough.
No, they did that really well with this series.
Really, they did that really well.
Yeah.
And they had the GOAT Cree Summers in there. That was dope.
The hat,
just seeing
that hat was crazy.
she stayed with a fly hat, but it was just seeing like I said, the different emotional beats and
Cam
the different seeing the different emotional beats, seeing Riri. Pretty much, kind of, even though she was throwing shade a little bit at Tony Stark, it's just like she was still being douchey like he was. She was still being arrogant like he was. Like, she was still
it was
showing,
like a parallel.
Yeah, it was like a nice parallel where they're not the same, but you could see similarities in their character and how they're acting, because they're not really trying to do the work on themselves.
That's the thing that people forgot. That's the thing that people forgot, is the fact that she's still in her origin story. Like, technically, she's still at the first part of her phase. Like, Tony was the same way before he became like the dude who would sacrifice himself for anybody.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
and it took him getting kidnapped to realize, I need to do something different. Because before that, he was still selling weapons. Like, he was cool.
I think. I mean, Riri, obviously, I think she has a good amount of respect for Tony. You know, even if she doesn't show it as much. Like, I know that. I mean, everyone does, right? You know what was crazy though? I did not expect Zeke Stain to actually know the backstory of his father's death. I thought that would be something that he would find out later on or something.
Well, I mean, it happened when he was like a kid, right?
Yeah, but like, I don't know, because like everyone, I mean, I feel like they might have, like, no one would have told him, like, everyone would have just fed him the same lie of him dying in a plane crash.
I would think that he would have done some research. He was on the black market.
Maybe. Oh, I guess the black market.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? That makes sense. That makes sense.
Like, he would have done some research by now.
Yeah.
Speaking of black market, they packed up Eric Andre quickly, boy. I said, oh, he was
I did not know he was going to be in the show. I did not know he was going to be in the show. So he was just like,
I said, sheesh.
I was like, Stuart, like, Rampage, and I'm like,
Rampage?
What?
What was his name?
I was so mad. I was all like, dude, I was so mad. I was like, if they don't let this dude come back for, like, because his Rampage in the comics is an actual, like, character, and like the dude that they associated his character with was technically based off of that character. So, like, I thought they were going to give him a whole arc where, oh, he gets fired and now he's mad at Riri because, you know, she took his job, so he's going to get revenge on her or something like that. Like, nah, they killed him. Like, bye.
Quickly. I said, oh, okay.
You're gone.
So, what did y'all think of Anthony Ramos from, you know, of his portrayal of the Hood?
I feel like he did a good job. Okay. I felt like he did a good job. I felt like the backstory was super short, as far as like finding out that it was actually his dad's house that they, because when they was showing the whole robbery, I'm thinking to myself, both of these niggas ain't got no gloves or no face mask on. Like, who we all robbing with the whole open face?
Well, I mean, that was the point of it. Like, they built it up to the point of where, like, you're having all these, like, natural questions, like, how are they pulling this off right now? It's because it was his dad. Like, they just did a really kind of roundabout way of getting to the point, which I kind of liked the reveal. And that dad,
I like the reveal. I just thought it was funny how quick his backstory happened. Like, it was just like, all right, we're here robbing this house. We don't know why we're robbing this house.
Well, I mean, they only had so long for it to happen.
Right. I get it. I'm just saying it was quick. That's my only knock against it, is that it was quick.
My dude,
but I love the reveal that was his dad's house, though.
That dad, like, when he said, I didn't even want you, I said,
oh yeah,
bro, I said, hold on, sir.
And it circles back.
Like, what we
that
talking about?
circles back to the trauma, right? And it circles back to a very biblical truth: is that the devil likes to lay waiting like a roaring lion, right? For anyone who, and so him with his trauma, with everything like that, like the devil is like, this guy is the perfect victim. Like, this guy is like, I can do anything I want with him. I can offer him anything he wants, and he'll just go right into that honey trap. Like, it's crazy.
Thank you, Priest
I like
Daniel.
what you did there, because I thought you was finna go scriptural with the daddy route, and I was about to say, how he finna tie this in?
I was gonna do this.
The devil. Oh, okay.
No, but I mean, isn't that's classic, right? Like, dude is down on his luck, and like, you know, the devil comes in, and he's just like, yo, I can give you whatever you want, you know.
Bro. And he was obviously Mephistopheles or Mephisto. Mephistopheles. He was playing off a desire, right? So there was a whole lot of things that he desired. I think the real thing that he desired was like a father that loved him. I'm not even trying to be corny.
Facts. No,
for
sure.
He just wanted to be wanted. Like, he got this when he was 12.
Lord, man. He needed the Lord.
Because he had
He needed a father that loved him, praise God.
Father's love, man. You're a good father.
And we're standing.
It's who you are. It's who you are. You know, we finna go into worship right there, bro. No. Dude, when Mephisto asked, what is it that you desire? I was like, Lucifer from the Netflix show.
No, you know what tripped me out? It was how much is it gonna cost me? You won't even miss it. Nah.
You won't even miss it. It's crazy. That's crazy. You know why? You know why that's crazy? I remember a sermon back in the day that I heard in youth where like the youth pastor was all, I think it was at camp or something like that, which JusRzd's an idiot, but here, like, that skit was hilarious, but
virginity is good.
Virginity is cool. Say
I'm done.
It's cool. Come on.
But it reminded me of that, where the youth pastor was talking about, or the guest speaker was talking about, how Satan will make you kind of devalue your worth and your soul, and you're gonna, you won't even miss that. You don't even miss that. You just worry about what you want and your desires, and
Facts.
I'm gonna hook you up with that. But at the end of the day, it always comes at a price, right? That price is supposed to be something you're not gonna be caring about. Like, I'm interested in seeing how they deal with this with her, because she's got to be smart enough to know, because she obviously was going back and forth with him, which I really like that. I was just like, yeah, that's why I didn't think she was gonna make that decision
so well.
I wonder how they're gonna go.
So well. Oh, I was so pissed.
What they're gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna do, because I feel like she's gonna find a way to think herself out of her arrangement with him somehow. I don't know how. It seems like, I mean, other than Natalie being in physical form back to life, and her getting the little scarred thing.
Yeah.
I think she's gonna figure out a way to kind of counteract what's going on, but it may lead, these are just predictions, it may lead to Natalie being gone again.
I feel like she's gonna be up out of here.
Yeah.
I think she's packed up. Like at some point during the movies, maybe in Secret Wars, if they come back with an Ironheart season 2.
Probably season 2 if they do that. I think probably season 2.
You think she's gonna be her man in a chair?
Who? Natalie?
So that's something I got confused. Like, was Natalie like
Smart?
yeah, like technically gifted?
That I'm not sure.
So
No.
I don't know.
Oh,
No.
she wasn't?
So I don't know
No,
if she
her
was
AI was an AI.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but even when
I
she was
know
alive,
both
like
of them
she
were
would be
smart.
helping
Riri was
them in
just
the
like-
garage.
Like she was like obviously smart enough to help him in the garage, but like her character, like when she got brought back to life, she was still like, "Can you speak in like normal English? Because I can't understand what
That
it
is
is."
true.
So
Right.
she's not like a nerd. Like
Yeah. She's just a really
Yeah.
like a best friend. That's it. Just hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing is, I mean, I keep going back to Mephisto, right? I had not seen. So like, I'm so used to Sacha Baron Cohen's characters of like Borat and Ali G and all of that, like the dictator, all like the comedic roles,
Yeah,
right?
seeing him act like a normal person was interesting.
It's not normal. I mean, this dude was menacing
yeah,
and
but
he was kind of
scary.
creepy.
He was
creepy.
creepy. The smiles that he was giving, I'm like, oh, that is.
When he was
Beautiful.
going from accent to accent, I was like, this dude is going
That was
crazy
hilarious.
right now.
That
That
was
is
hilarious.
crazy.
Slipping in and out the accents, smooth
Exactly.
too. I was like, oh, all right.
Smooth.
Yeah. No, I mean,
And did you
can see
did you
in
guys
his
dial
eyes.
back? Did you dial back and see his reflection in the spoon?
Oh yeah,
They showed
I saw it in the moment.
what he actually looks like in the spoon.
Yeah, I rewound and I was just like, but I saw something and I was like, wait, and then I rewound and I'm like, oh,
I was like, oh nah, they going crazy with this.
yeah, because they stayed there on that reflection for like a second or two.
Yeah.
like, you know, so
Enough to where you could spot it. Like that,
Yeah.
I was just all like, what was that? I didn't like acknowledge it at first. I was like, what is that in the spoon? And then
Yeah.
like I watched New Rockstars and they're all like, they showed his face.
yeah.
Like,
I saw the new Rockstars video yesterday. I saw it yesterday night, and I'm like, after I watched everything, because it's been kind of a crazy weekend last weekend, but like after that, I was like, I finally watch it, and yeah, dude, this is like 5 years. Like you're right, Eric was freaking out because
It was freaking out.
5 years in the making, man.
They went a little bit too far. Like I get like Eric gives me like I used to go to church. I was saved vibes at one point because he knows too much. So
Oh
like,
yeah. He was
I'm
a
just-
Catholic boy, man.
Oh, you what? Okay,
He's
so
a Catholic
like
boy,
I was,
or
like,
was.
I was like, you know a little too much for you to be like doing this. I feel weird every
Yeah.
time he starts speaking about it.
Yeah.
I was just all like, oh, can you like not do that?
I saw when he so Sacha Baron Cohen apparently like posted a picture of him as Mephisto and said the
Like-
devil's in the details.
With all the
No, just like, you know, like the character, right? He just posted like a still from the show on his Instagram. And
Oh.
the caption said the devil's in the details,
That was
just
in
like
the
WandaVision.
details. That's hilarious.
Just like WandaVision.
so he probably all of our theories beforehand and Eric's theories initially because he had been talking about this for 5 years. Like we gotta give credit where credit's due because that dude was on it like right
Yeah.
away. But like I think that he was supposed to be in WandaVision, right? I think they wrote him out, right?
So like they said at first they said that was going to be a major cameo at the end of WandaVision. Then that didn't end up happening. And then later interviews, like they were asking Jack, what's her name? Schaefer, Jan or Jack Schaefer? I'm not sure. Like Jacqueline, I'm not sure. Anyway, they were asking her, and she said, "I didn't even know who Mephisto was." So like I don't know if they were trying to like cover up, if they were trying to like save face from what they said or whatever the case may be. But I mean, those little references again, like you can't. Like, when you have deliberate lines like the devil's in the details and different things like that, I'm pretty sure they were... Or, like, there was also, like, a deleted scene where that bunny was supposed to be a devil, like a demon or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That the one that Agnes was holding, or Agatha was holding.
Oh,
That's one
yeah,
thing.
wasn't it supposed to be her son or something like that?
Yeah, I think they wanted to go that direction, but I think they ended up making it like a demon. Or something like that. But yeah.
Something like
So
that.
anyway, but all of this has led up to all roads lead to Mephisto. And it's funny how like when they brought up like when Riri brings up Dormammu, he just like starts laughing. He's just like, bruh, he broke
You're
can't
not
hold a
even on the
candle.
same playing
No,
field.
he said he couldn't even wipe my glorious butthole. My butthole. It's just funny to think about Satan having a butthole because, like,
I'd rather not.
he wasn't made in the design of. I'm going to. I'm going to. But I'm gonna lie, man. That was a great line.
Isn't there a hot sauce like that or something? Glorious Satan's butthole? I don't even know.
No,
Glorious
Satan's butthole.
butthole?
Not glorious, but Satan's butthole? Something like, I don't even know.
Not glorious.
There's nothing glorious about the
hilarious.
devil. Nah. Miss me with that. Rebuke
There's
that.
nothing glorious about buttholes either.
You're right.
That's gonna be a clip.
But yeah, I mean, Ironheart, I think, again, like, great show. I think it was very under, like, I mean, the anticipation for it was not great at all. That's why. But to
No.
be honest, I want Disney to drop, like, Marvel to drop these episodes like this, like 2 to 3 episodes every
Oh, it was great. It
Yeah.
was great.
Like,
I wish they would have did that
I
with
feel like it
Daredevil.
made.
Because I
I
think
feel like
they
it
were-
made sense for this particular story, but I don't want every show to drop 3
so
episodes at a time.
the thing
I do.
is, I think, yeah, me too. I think the thing is this,
I
right?
don't.
I think they were like, I don't know who I was listening to. I think it was maybe New Rockstars, but they were saying how like Disney doesn't have like a huge catalog of shows or things that like people constantly go back to. It doesn't like Netflix or like there's not things that you can necessarily binge on Disney Plus. Maybe like old shows, maybe like the Disney Channel shows or like Disney movies for the kids.
I've
Maybe
been watching Darkwing Duck and Kicking It and all them
But, I mean,
shows
again,
from back in the day.
but those numbers don't like it's not a lot, right? Like
Yeah,
how many
right.
people there are watching compared to like
They're
Netflix.
starting
and
to
HBO Max.
acquire though. They're starting to acquire. They have like Cartoon Network shows now. They got like Gumball on
Oh, they
there.
do. Okay.
Yeah.
So they were saying like for now, like because they get these inflated numbers every time like a whatchamacallit, a new show comes out, and then after that it just tapers off completely.
Yeah.
So like they need to like actually put like a couple of episodes out so they can keep that number for extended for the next couple of weeks. Does that make sense? Like instead of just
Yeah,
like
'cause-
having it one and then rise fall kind of
'Cause
situation.
then we
it'll be, like,
have-
rise.
Because
2
now
weeks.
we have, they did that perfectly because now we went from Daredevil to Ironheart, which there was still a little bit of a gap, but we went from Daredevil to Ironheart, and now we're going to Eyes of Wakanda.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
don't think they're
Eyes of
releasing
Wakanda's
the
good.
same way. Eyes of
Yeah,
Wakanda,
probably
the
not.
trailer looks sick, by the way. Like, I was
does.
just like,
It did.
ooh, that looks good. But,
JusRzd, did you do a reaction to that or?
yeah, he
The
did.
Eyes of Wakanda trailer. Yeah, I think it comes out tomorrow.
Okay.
But I think they did it, and I don't think they're doing Eyes of Wakanda the same way. I think they're gonna take like the weekly approach to it
Yeah.
and probably stretch it out until Wonder Man. Because remember, we still
Well,
got Wonder
I
Man.
think
November?
Marvel Zombies is before Wonder Man. I think.
Is Marvel Zombies before one? Because my thing is they're probably gonna stretch it out to the next series, and they've learned
Right.
how to like space them properly.
Wonder Man is in December.
Well, this year was the year of just releasing everything that they've been sitting on.
That's true.
So it's just like I don't
You
know.
said
I
Wonder
don't-
Man is in
I
December?
know moving forward.
Wonder Man's in December.
Well, then they gotta stretch
Oh,
it out,
okay.
right?
And then Marvel
Yeah,
Zombies
probably.
is in October.
Okay,
Okay.
so Marvel Zombies is first.
So
And
they're
Eyes of
probably
Wakanda.
gonna do
They-
the weekly thing for Eyes of Wakanda, and then by the time we finish Eyes of
August.
Wakanda, it's gonna be close to
Zombies.
zombies.
Yeah. And then
Hey,
Zombies is
Prodigyl,
going to
look
be.
up what their plans for release for Disney Plus releases for Marvel are, because I think it's supposed to be like either one live action and 2 animated, or 2 of both. But I think it's 1 live action. And
Next
2
year,
animated.
they're going crazy.
So, let's see.
What's dropping
We got-
next year?
So they got, okay, so
Next
this year we
year.
got, coming up, we got Fantastic Four, we got Eyes of Wakanda, then Zombies. Hold on, my computer's slow. Wonder Man. Scroll faster. Daredevil Born Again. So 2026 is Daredevil Born Again, March.
Season 2. Gotcha.
Yep, season 2. Then Spider-Man: Brand New Day,
Yeah, they're going crazy next year.
Doomsday. So there's no other show. So everything is like that's how spread out it is, right? So it's basically so Daredevil, and then
Dang, so when X-Men
Brand New
97
Day,
supposed to
and then
drop?
Doomsday. Sorry.
I wonder when X-Men 97 is going to drop season 2.
Not yet.
The Punisher is also 2026, but they haven't put a date on it.
That's the
It'll probably be later in the
featurette.
year.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the featurette. It's probably going to be in October, they said.
And then
Yeah,
Vision,
more than likely.
Vision Quest.
Is that 2026?
Yeah.
Huh.
And then Secret Wars 2027.
Let's go.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
I think-
gonna be
I think-
2027.
Those are bangers, man. For real.
I
don't know
think they're
how
still figuring
Zombies
out
is gonna shake
stuff
out.
with. I think they're still figuring out stuff with X-Men '97. Because remember
Yeah.
they had to switch directors and.
Yeah. 'Cause yeah.
You win some, you lose some, baby.
We're in for a great year, man. I mean, this is again
Didn't
like
make the
once
case.
I can't. I've been seeing some plot leaks for Doomsday. I mean, not intentionally, of course, but it's like there's some things that have been coming out that it's very interesting.
Here's
So
what
I'm
we're.
trying to see how it
Here's,
shake out. How it shakes out.
let's save that for like let's save like that for a speculative
Oh yeah, no, I'm not talking about
gather. Let's talk about all the theories and stuff later. But as far as Ironheart is concerned, I think this was a good foot. I think Daredevil Born Again was a good foot forward. You know, it might not have been everything that everybody wanted, but it was a good foot in the right direction.
Yep.
And now we're seeing like, unless they just made a bunch of changes last minute or whatever, like we're seeing that they kind of started to get a grip on what they were doing with Ironheart. Again, maybe not the most perfect thing, but that goes with anything. And it actually, I think everybody was surprised by how well the last 3 episodes
Oh yeah.
went, because
Last 4, really.
they were, yeah, technically the last 4. I think they acted, the whole cast acted their butts off, bro.
Oh yeah. Shout out
Like-
to that team. Shout out to the Hoods team and all that. Like I like
sure.
all their
Everybody was
characterizations.
working on it.
Yeah.
They were all really dope, and just like you felt that. It's like they got us to like those characters right away, so that when they took that heel turn, it was like, oh, what is going on? Like,
Yeah.
Fact.
that is
And the fact
crazy.
The most shocking thing about this series to me is that it was done like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and it's
Yeah.
been sitting on the shelf the whole
This is
time.
surprising.
And it's still
It's just like-
surprisingly relevant.
Yeah.
Relevant, and it was actually good. Like,
Yeah.
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 They had
actually
this
good.
sitting there. They had this sitting there, and they were all like, "Oh no, we gotta put out." What did they put out in that span of time? Like they had
She-Hulk?
so much crap. Oh,
Yeah, touche.
see, I like She-Hulk though.
I like She-Hulk because it was what they advertised. Like, I don't understand what people were expecting.
No other reason.
Somebody says
No other
they're
reason.
doing a lawyer comedy.
And it
What
was
are we
just that.
expecting?
Anyway,
It was
we're not
just
getting
that.
into She-Hulk right now.
What are we expecting? Why are we expecting anything
No,
different?
I think
Bring it back.
quick question though. Do y'all think now that the Hood is basically he's powerless, he's gone.
Wait. You didn't
What?
see the after scene?
Huh?
You didn't see the
You
after
see the
credit scene?
post-credit scene?
That was a post-credit scene?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Wait, are y'all trolling me? Wait, what? Okay, granted, it was like 2:30 in the morning. I fell asleep right after that. So
Let's talk about the fact that we have more magical characters in the MCU, which is
For sure.
I'm
Shout
not
out
just
to
going
Zelda.
I'm not going
Wait.
off skelter. This has something to do
Final
with
episode,
the
right?
post credit. Yes, this has something
I
to
haven't
do with
watched
the
it right now.
post credit scene. So the fact that we have more magical characters while he's watching that, and how old girl is like just controlling stuff like natural prodigy type of like doing her thing in her own dimension and stuff like that. Do you think that the You think we're gonna see her again in like that Strange Academy?
Oh, if they do Strange Academy TV show, for sure.
She was kind of dope. I'm not gonna lie.
She was.
I was just like, she was slick with it too. She said, she said magic.
I wouldn't be opposed to them bringing America Chavez back.
No, they're good. They got it. She's a main superhero character, so you know they're gonna bring her back. Look at him. Look at him right. Look at this. Look at this.
No, what I was gonna say was I like what they did with the villains. I like how they resolved the conflict of the villains. I like how she reset Stain, so now he don't have to abide by Parker's demands. I like what happened with Parker. So I had a question for y'all. How did y'all feel about the final fight with Hood? And then the second question would have been, how did y'all feel about that the way they played that final scene? Because I went through so many emotions in that final scene. I was like, wait.
Are you talking about the after credit scene?
No. The conversation between her and Mephisto.
Oh yeah, no. I thought for sure that when it went back, I love, by the way, that they gave her fro. I was so happy to finally see her fro. But I thought for sure he was just projecting, like, oh, this is what it's gonna look like,
what she wanted.
Yeah, and he was just kind of trying to manipulate her or whatever.
That's what I thought at first too.
And she had snapped out of it and was just all like, "Look, man, I don't want to play. I don't jack with that, bro. Like, I don't want that."
Because she was holding tough for a minute.
And I was just all like, this is how the freaking Avengers talk to the bad guys. This is how they talk to the bad guys.
I was like, okay,
we're not having it. We're not having it. And then when she turned around and shook that Negro's hand.
Well, before she even got to shaking his hand, when Natalie popped back up, and I was like, oh, she got the hologram back, because she was doing the calculations on the board. I was like, oh, snap, she got the hologram back. So wait, is this a vision or is this real? Wait a minute, what's going on?
I like that.
I was going through so many emotions.
They cooked with that. They cooked with that because they were going back and forth, and I was like, is this a vision or?
Those little clips of those little cuts where Mephisto's like talking, and then it's just like a B-roll of him like just sitting and smiling. I like those little trippy things
when he's communicating with mind telepathic
and smiling. So like same thing, right? With those like intercutting with those scenes, like, and you don't know if it's real, if it's a vision. Yeah, that's cool to me.
Facts.
You saw the scene. You saw the scene. Now we can talk about it. Okay, so he doesn't have the hood anymore, but this doesn't mean that he can't possibly get the hood back somehow, some way, some form down the line, because that character is the hood. So the hood doesn't really go from too many people to too many people. So like I feel like he's gonna some way through magic get the hood back, or he's gonna find an alternative way.
Yeah,
you know, because the girl didn't know. She wasn't there for the other. She didn't even know who Riri was fighting.
And he might even learn better magic to help control the hood from taking control of him.
Right.
So, I'm interested to see what they do with that.
So, I guess the question was, though, do you think that team that was with the hood, now because he killed Rampage, like, do you think like that team is going to start helping Riri now?
They're gonna start. I feel like the MCU is gonna do what the MCU is gonna do, and turn them into anti-heroes.
Yeah,
that's what they're back, but that's about it.
I like that team though.
So, they were cool.
What's his face? Or what's their face? The one with the makeup. I forget what the name was.
I forgot. I just call them.
I forgot.
They're a character. They're an actual character. They're like in the comics, so they might bring them back with like their actual powers, because it's actually based off of that person and how they look. I didn't know that. Like they based the character in the comics off of that person's look in the comics and just gave them superpowers and a role in the comics.
Huh. That's interesting.
Right.
I will say I didn't really care too much for the twins, but Clown and the Hacker, I was cool with them.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, this has kind of been our conversation about, well, not kind of, it was our conversation on everything we liked about Ironheart. And we will probably touch on a little bit more of it later. But it's time to go. So, JusRzd, can you hit us up?
But thank y'all for tapping in to another episode, the first episode of season 2 of Those Indie Geeks. We had a fabulous time talking about Ironheart and reviewing that. There's a lot of stuff that's finna drop in July, and we will be reviewing a lot of the things. Next up is probably gonna be Superman, as far as what we review. But we'll throw in some other episodes and some favorable discussions throughout there. And then the Fantastic Four, of course, at the end of the month. But yeah, and the Eyes of Wakanda drops in August. So
we're going
it's gonna be
crazy.
a lot.
It's a fun time.
It's gonna be a lot.
It's a fun time.
Going super crazy. So season 2 finna be jam packed. We're gonna have some guests. We're gonna do all that. You see, we got the new intro and all that stuff. But thank you for tapping in. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. Continue to do those things. Continue to do more of those things if you haven't. It's free. You can do it. Subscribe to the channel. It don't cost you nothing. Share it with your friends and family. It don't cost you nothing. But stay tapped in with Those Indie Geeks, and we out.
Except for your desires. I'm just watching.